Okay. Du musst aber schon aufpassen, dass du das nicht.
Genau, das nicht. Die Finger abhalten. Sehr, sehr.
Das ist so genauso, wenn es dann essen wird.
Also, das kommt nicht.
Eine hat schon ein Stück weiter. Kann sofort beim Essen.
Alrighty, so we do have all of the devils on the food already. Pretty keen for dinner tonight. Now you heard in the documentary that devils do share their food. So this is what it looks like for devils sharing. It comes with a massive asterisk next to it, that sharing comment. They wouldn't cut the food up into 7 pieces and share it with their friends. They're going to be tolerating each other around that one carcass because devils are not territorial animals. So what that means is that being non-territorial, they'll come across each other in the wild a fair bit, and basically it is part of their natural diet, or natural behaviour rather, to be sharing that one chunk of food with each other. Now tonight there's only about 100 grams of food per animal, so not a very large meal for these devils tonight, but again, across the course of the week they do get half their body weight in food. Now, we heard quite a few different vocalisations before they were getting fed, but we've got a few different ones at the moment. That kind of sneezing sounds they make all the time because they've got really poor eyesight. They're vocalising to keep tabs on where everyone is, to try and kind of figure out where everyone is, how many devils there are around. They'll be constantly making that vocalisation to be able to determine what's going on around them. They have very poor eyesight. They do have a lot of whiskers on them to feel the other devils around them as well. But otherwise, some of their communication is done through vocalisation. They are very vocal animals, making about 15 different sounds, ranging from this sneezing type sound all the way up to a really high-pitched squeal and all the growls in between. We haven't actually seen any fights or anything just yet. You're seeing very typical communication, vocalisations from these Tasmanian devils at the moment. So they are pretty efficient when it comes to eating.
Yeah.
They will eat the entire thing. So by the time they're fully grown, there'll be absolutely nothing left of the carcass. At this point in their life, they wouldn't chew through the large bones just yet. So in the morning, quite likely there might be a few little chunks of bone and they'll be chucked next door with the adult devils and they'll clean that up for us. So nothing will be wasted, but by the time they are fully grown, the most powerful jaws in the world, so therefore very much capable of chewing through bone. That is an adaptation to scavenge. All of the devil's physical adaptations and even behavioural adaptations kind of indicate to them being a scavenging animal, so a secondary carnivore. They do definitely hunt. They can hunt large animals, but they're very good at scavenging and finding already dead things to eat. Again, they'll eat the entire thing. Really brilliant sense of smell to find dead animals. Very poor eyesight to see moving prey. So again, better at finding dead animals. Devils are very, very strong animals in their upper body. They've got lovely hands to grab onto food. They've got 5 digits on their front feet and 4 on the back. So really good hands to grab onto food. Very strong upper body, very strong jaws, as I mentioned. They're not very quick. Tasmanian devils, they've got a top speed of about 25 kilometres per hour. Does someone want to guess for me how fast a wombat can run? 40 kilometres per hour. So wombats can run 40 kilometres per hour, much quicker than devils. So basically, the devils generally not trying to chase down healthy, fully grown animals because they're not very quick. Devils, their front legs, I mentioned they're really powerful. They're longer than the back legs. So basically it's not very efficient to move quickly, but it's actually quite efficient to move a long distance. So they do cover about 12 kilometres average per night to find food. So they're covering that large distance to find an already dead carcass. Majority of devils have that bit of white. It actually adds to their camouflage. They are nocturnal, so the wild devils will be out and about at the moment, being completely dark. They'll come out at sunset and travel around until sunrise. But the white marking adds to their camouflage by breaking up their silhouette. Majority of animals see in black and white, so basically having a bit of white on them breaks up their silhouette, makes them hard to see. As they're moving in front of a complex habitat, makes them a bit harder to be found, and that would hide the devil from their predators. Even though the devils, they are the largest carnivorous marsupial in the world by a very substantial margin. These ones are 3.5 kilograms. They'll get up to 11 kilograms for males. That'll be about the maximum. They are the largest carnivorous marsupial in the world, but they have natural predators. They're definitely not the top of the food chain. I mentioned how much they prefer to scavenge, so definitely not a very efficient hunter. We'll have a look at the top of the food chain in a little while. But basically that white marking, hiding them from their predators, but potentially allowing them to sneak up on prey should they be hunting. They will hunt very opportunistically. If they find something injured, dying, sick, something like that. So they've done pretty well. There's not too much meat left on that bone. They will chew on that bone, and they will chew through some of it. But again, just being young, they're not going to be eating the entire leg bone there.